but now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
Yes, I am back, y'all. What's up? How y'all doing? It is your girl, your diva and knowledge, Lady Mocha, representing Mocha's Ladies Lounge, where I'm always giving you wisdom, knowledge, and spiritual awareness. I know it's been almost, I will say, probably a month or close to a month since I have uploaded, since y'all have heard anything from me. And I definitely want to apologize for holding out so long on my sermons, for holding out, on giving y'all, the best of, of my platform and my wisdom. And nevertheless, I had to shut the operation down temporarily because there was just too many technical difficulties, and it was definitely starting to affect the quality of my content and the quality of my message that I'm very passionate about delivering to each and every one of y'all. So because of that, I had to shut the operation down. I had people coming up under my comment section complaining about my audio, saying how it was very choppy. I've even had someone on my other channel, because y'all know I have two channels, Mocha's Cafe de Paris. That was the channel I started off with before I branched off and made this my ladies only channel. So I was also uploading content over there, and I have male subscribers who support me, and men, they are very direct, and I've had one of them even say my microphone was trash, literally, right? So it was just way too many people complaining about the audio, complaining about the quality of my my uploads that what I was putting out there. And I really cannot get mad at nobody but myself for that. I take full accountability. Whenever you decide to go into blogging, it's very imperative that you really invest in your craft, and a lot of people don't understand the significance of that. And it's important that you have a good quality microphone, you have good quality soundproof. It's a lot of things that entail with just streaming up and logging on and getting behind the mic, and you have to have a lot of things on point, and with that it takes money. And when you don't have a large fan base, the harder chances it is for you to really be able to produce good quality content. So I didn't want to put the burden on other people, because everybody's going through a hardship, but there was a few of y'all who did donate. Y'all did look out, and I cannot complain, whether if it was $5 or $25. I was very grateful of it, because I put every dime towards the things that I have now. But I thank God for my second business, because if it was not for that, I would have not been able to come through and deliver and get back into the game of, blogging. You get what I'm saying? So I had to shut it down and do what I had to do. If any of y'all been keeping up with my posts, in the community tab, I've even showed y'all a lot of things I had to create on my own. I created my own soundproof board. A lot of things I had to do from scratch, which saved me a lot of money. So listen, when you part of the sisterhood struggle, the broke fire broke, the struggle sisterhood sorority, broke but blessed, broke but not broken. I may even get a t-shirt that says broke but not broken. So listen, I had to do this from the bottom on up. I could have got my husband to pay for all kind of stuff, but I'd rather just, some things you rather do on your own. You rather put your all and all into it. You appreciate it more. You value it more. And this was my personal baby that I wanted to give life to. So I didn't want to burden my husband with something that's not really a priority. Blogging, this is my hobby, but let's face it, it don't pay my bills. It don't pay my bills, right? So I didn't want to put that type of burden on my husband just for me to blog. So I thank God that my other business is going relatively well, is going substantially well. That's why my income is coming from, and that's how I was able to get all the equipment that I needed, so I thank God for giving me the ability to be good at other things. So if y'all don't know, I am also an agency owner of a family violence intervention program, and that's basically anytime individuals who get arrested or they are court mandated to take a family domestic class, and it doesn't just have to be family domestic violence as far as husband and wife or baby daddy, baby mama. It can be, mother and daughter, father and son. Family domestic violence is family domestic violence. It can even be siblings. So a lot of people just think domestic violence is when couples have an altercation. But that's not always the case, right? Now, just notice I just froze a second. Hopefully that doesn't happen too many times. But so because of that, I've been able to really accumulate all the funds that was necessary quicker than I had anticipated. So I thank God for that. But that is the reason why I've been going for so long, guys. And it has put a dampen at my channel because I guess when you don't upload consistently, YouTube removes your membership. Those who have been tithing into the congregation, I don't know if y'all have been still been seeing the membership fees come out. I don't think it has because YouTube has not been reporting any, and that's what happens when you're not consistent with your craft. YouTube does not push you in the algorithms as rapidly as they used to when you're consistent, right? So yeah, I had a whole lot going on, and I just had to figure out how I was going to do things, how I was going to be able to be consistent. And I know one of the biggest issues is editing. Editing is very, very, very time consuming. It's been times when I would do upload the night before, thinking the next morning it's going to be ready, only to see that it's still stuck at 35 or 50, and it's not even nowhere near 100%. So a lot of times I will post to y'all that I was going to have something ready, thinking when I got up the next day it was ready. It was not. So now I realize I can't even edit anymore. I have to directly, specifically just start doing my content without all of the extra special theatrics, the theme music and all this other stuff. I'll still have my theme song on here, but I'm better off using the method that I'm going to be using today, just basically flipping through each tab, each window, versus editing. Editing is a lot of work, and anybody who edits their own content can tell you it's very time consuming. Sometimes it could take up to 3 days just to upload a 30-minute content if you're gonna add in extra clips or add in extra things. So I'm like, you know what, I'm over the editing at this point. I'm just gonna give it to y'all straight and raw, right out the box or whatever, and see if that cuts down my time, because editing is the reason why it plays a major part in the reason why I haven't been able to put my content out there as rapidly in consistency. So we're going to do a trial by error and see how this new method goes. Plus, not to mention, y'all are seeing me live in the flesh. Every once in a while, I am going to be behind the avatar, but I felt I owed it to y'all for y'all to personally see me, being that y'all have not heard from me in a couple of weeks. So I did not want to cheat y'all any more than what I've already have. So I appreciate a lot of you who've still been reaching out to me, who've still been watching my old classic videos. Some are still keeping me in the algorithms, because it does help that even if content creators aren't uploading something new, if our old classic videos are still being watched, it does kind of help us stay in the loop just a little bit. So I appreciate it. A lot of y'all have been coming under the comments and saying, hey, Mocha, I've been watching your classics and I'll be glad when you're back and everything. So I appreciate everybody for their support and basically keeping me in mind. So I appreciate it. And those of you who probably want to reach out to me but couldn't because you really didn't know what was going on, so I get it. I appreciate it, and I'm very, very grateful. And I definitely now plan on really staying on my A game because I got everything that I need. And when you got everything you need, the motivation is more in depth. It's hard to be motivated when you don't have what you need. You know what I mean? You know, it's like not having a car and you got to get to work. You know, how motivated you going to be after a while when you got to keep, you know, bumming for rides. You got to keep paying for Uber, half of your check going to Uber. After a while, you lose your motivation. And I think that's what it was. I was somewhat losing my motivation because I did not have what I need. And a lot of people was very, very critical of my content because of all of my audio issues. But nevertheless, we'll see how it goes from here. And if the quality and the audio and everything is better, I know to keep the same temperature that I've been doing. That way I can continue to keep delivering good quality content. So nevertheless, I wanted to get into this right away. Also, another thing I'm considering doing, I'm gonna also put that in the community tab and seeing if we could do a call-in show. I'm definitely thinking about doing that because I want to interact with my subscribers more. If y'all think that's a good idea, please let me know. I will put it the community tab, and based on the results, most likely if I have a lot of people who would prefer me to do call-ins, sometimes, not all the time, because I still have to deliver my sermons and things of that such. But if you want me to go to live and accept phone calls here and there when we talk about certain topics and issues and things of that nature, then let me know, because I strongly believe that sometimes we have to always be willing to grow. You can't remain stationary. You can't stick with what you're comfortable with. Just being behind an avatar all the time, or just you always doing the talking and not giving other people who have been rocking with you and supporting you from day one, giving them the privilege to be able to call in and add their opinion and also show you love and show you support. So I'm definitely looking forward to most likely taking a new direction and accepting live call-ins. So if y'all think that's a good idea, definitely let me know. And I'll get that ball rolling as well, y'all. But I am back and it feels great to be back. So getting into the content, which is way overdue. I'm going to keep this simple because I have to reintegrate back into, you know, my blogging. So I wanted to pick something simple to just kind of get my feet wet a little bit. However, it is also very, very effective. And I'm sure a lot of you who have daughters or know young women who probably have experienced this would also be very significant information as well. So I wanted to move into this right away. Now I'm going to be doing shows in which I'm going to, the idea is to basically have different segments for my show. So that way everybody will be on the same accord and understand once I upload something, basically what is the topic or the content at hand that particular day. So I have a series called Unhinged series. And those of you who've been rocking with me for a long time should be aware of it. But in case you aren't, every once in a while I will upload, and this is what I'm doing today, one of my Unhinged series, in which I share real life stories in which there was some type of domestic violence or any type of, you know, physical conflict in which either a man or a woman has harmed or injured their significant other. Because again, I'm a huge advocate for domestic violence, and that is what I do for a living. I deal with court mandated or individuals who, I can't talk today, individuals who have been arrested for domestic violence cases. And this is what I do. And basically most of the states are requiring men and women, because domestic violence is not just a man's disease, despite that's the myth those are the stories that we hear about most of the time. I also have family violence intervention classes for women as well, whom are also abusive and whom have also been arrested for domestic violence charges, right? So domestic violence is not just a man problem, it's not just a woman problem, but it is a person's an abusive individual who yet has not gained any control over their anger, has not found other ways of being able to manage how they deal with anger, how they deal with not allowing their emotions to affect them to make really damaging choices. Because let's face it, a lot of people who are dealing with domestic violence, they are dealing with the reality of it, and this is a charge that you definitely don't want to have. And I will say this: if you are a man, if you are a woman, if you are having difficulties keeping hands to yourself, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's definitely going to catch up with you in the long run. And these are the individuals that I deal with, and it is very expensive. By the time you deal with lawyers, by the time you deal with probation officers, by the time you deal with these state certified facilitated classes that I teach, it can get really expensive. But not only that, once you get that charge on your record, it does affect your livelihood. These are things people don't think about. It affects your livelihood to the point that if you get a domestic violence charge, you cannot get an apartment. You cannot get certain jobs. You cannot get jobs that are well-paying jobs, because they take battery, they take aggravated assault, they take domestic violence charges seriously, especially when it comes to certain professions. Like if you're dealing with children, you're teaching at a school, and you get that type of charge, most likely you can get terminated from your job. They don't want a person with a domestic violence charge to be in charge of children. They don't want you being a nurse, a CNA. You definitely cannot go into law enforcement. So seems like the most rewarding careers are not going to take a gamble on you. Now, you might can get away with working at Burger King or something like that, but a career that's very fulfilling, that that requires you to uphold a certain reputation or a character about yourself, they are not going to accept you. I've seen people who've gotten so far as to getting a CDL after going to truck driving school for weeks or months at a time, driving a truck for like a month or so, thinking they're good. They finally landed some stability, only to find out that company decides to do a background check, because some of these companies are so thirsty and so lazy, they don't want to do that initial background check before they hire you, so they don't waste a month or two of your precious time to turn around and tell you after you done been with them for a couple of months, we're going to have to let you go because this was brought to our attention in your background. So it really does affect how you are able to manage in this world as an abide paying tax citizen, right? So we have a situation at hand with Mr. Quay Davis, who's also definitely going to get a rude lesson, a rude awakening. If not, he already is getting a rude awakening. But I wanted to share this with y'all. This is my Unhinged series, in which, again, I discuss cases in which there has been some type of incident between a man and his woman, two couples, that either resulted in a death or an injury. Because I think we need to be aware and pay attention to the red flags when we come across certain people, and be proactive and remove yourself from the situation before it even escalates, right? So I went on my TikTok account, and a couple of people had already discussed this particular situation about Quay Davis, and I think they broke it down and narrated it really good. So I wanted us to kind of go into that, into some of the other content creators or bloggers who also gave an opinion on this. But first, before we do that, I'm going to go to YouTube, because I want you all to also be aware of the situation and the background. I want y'all to become familiar with it before we go into the TikTok video. So I'm going to play this snippet, because I want all of you to also be aware of the story and the situation at hand that is in reference to the Unhinged series that I'm going to be talking about. So I should already have this up and ready. But y'all, this is, like I said, this is where all that crazy editing, and that's why it takes so long. So that's why I'm not going to be doing editing. I'm just going to go straight to videos and stuff now. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to play this video here because I want y'all to get an understanding of the situation, so y'all become familiar with it in case y'all have not heard about this. Now, this has happened 3 weeks ago in case you were not made aware of it or you've been hiding up under a rock. So let's get into this. Also, let me remind you all that it is triggering. This is going to be a trigger warning video. Okay, so let's get into it.
Showing him choking his ex-girlfriend, 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼, until she passes out.
Let's get back into it. Okay, let's go. Play from the beginning.
Southern University football player 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼.
Fair use, fair use, fair use. I am displaying this video for educational and entertainment purposes only, to make everyone aware of domestic violence and how important it is that every man or woman who is in some type of domestic violence situation, that they make whatever necessary measures in order to basically protect their safety. So just want to share that. Let's go.
Age 22, was arrested and booked into Tulsa County Jail on Saturday, April 12th. The charges: first-degree burglary, domestic abuse and battery by strangulation. Davis' arrest follows the release of a shocking video circulating online, allegedly showing him choking his ex-girlfriend, 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼, until she passes out and collapses. In the footage, the man believed to be Davis confronts 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼 outside her apartment, forcibly restricts her breathing, and then drops her limp body before walking away. 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼 took to social media shortly after the video surfaced. "This man choked me until I passed out and peed on myself," she wrote. "He kicked my door down, punched me numerous times, all because I didn't want to be with him anymore." She confirmed that neighbors called the police and shared that there's camera footage from multiple angles confirming the incident. She also added, "Domestic violence is never okay. I will be pressing charges, and no, I am not going back." Southern University.
Fair use, fair use, fair use. Like I said, for educational and entertainment purposes only. This content does not promote violence in no fashion or form. Again, this is for educational purposes only.
Has confirmed that Davis was dismissed from the football team in October 2024 for violating team rules. Just days before the arrest, Davis announced on Instagram that he was entering the NCAA transfer portal with 1 year of eligibility left. As of now, the university says he no longer has any affiliation with SU athletics. The internet has responded with fury and disgust. One user wrote, "Jail has a warm spot just for you." Another added, "You're cooked, bro, done for." The community is calling for swift justice, especially given Monty's claim that Davis also allegedly assaulted the mother of his child, leading to her hospitalization. With video evidence, eyewitnesses, and multiple allegations, this case is developing fast. Domestic violence survivors and advocacy groups are praising 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼 for speaking out, and are encouraging others in abusive situations to seek help immediately. If you or someone you know is a victim of domestic violence, please reach out. National Domestic Violence Hotline, 1-800-799-SAFE 7233.
So y'all see that number, 1-807-99-SAFE 7233. Please don't take situations like this lightly. Now, as y'all can see, again, this is a very, very trigger warning type of content. He darn near choked her literally to death. As y'all can see, and I don't want to keep rewinding and you know, making light of this, but he darn near choked her to death till her body went limp, and she peed on herself. Usually when a person is encountering some type of strangulation, that is usually what happens, because it is a near-death experience, and that is part of it, either urinating or either, you know, boo-booing on oneself, because basically the body is being released of everything. when a person can no longer breathe. So it's a very unfortunate situation. And not only to add insult to injury, after he darn near choked this young lady to death and saw her laying there limpless, fortunately, she didn't lose her life. The devil had a plot, but God had a plan. And he protected this young woman because God wanted dude to be exposed, and that's what ended up happening. So she was able to not succumb to the injuries, and she was able to get up and leave. Now, if you notice, and if you were to rewind it back, he didn't even look back to check on her. He didn't even go back to pretend that he would assist her and give her some type of aid or anything, which further lets me know that he was very, very sure in what he was doing. The fact that he chased her down like a raging pit bull, just ready to devour and attack. And it just goes to show you, a lot of these industry dudes, they cannot, and I'm gonna just say, I don't want to single nobody out, but you just have some dudes that cannot take no for an answer. They can't handle rejection. Especially when you're dealing with men like Quay Davis. Now, Quay Davis is a professional college football player who was going to get drafted, who actually got picked to be drafted into the NFL. So, I mean, not that I'm trying to like stroke dude's ego, but the dude is, or was, because I doubt he's going to have that career anymore, was a phenomenal athlete. He was very, very fast and swift on the field. But the problem was, with all of that, all of these achievements, all of this talent, all of this success, the man had a lot of underlying demons that he had not dealt with because he had already had a history of this. And that is why this situation escalated, because she asked him, did he put his hands on the mother of his child? So it was brought to her attention at some point. That's why she brought it up to him. And like a lot of these narcissistic ninjas, they play the role, man. I don't know what you're talking about, baby. I ain't never put my hands on a woman. She hit me first. I ain't never been that kind of dude. What I got to beat on a woman for? Look at me. I'm about to be this multi-millionaire, you know what I'm saying? I'm about to sign this big contract. I ain't got to beat on no woman, to control no woman. You know how they try to flip the script and make it seem like they are the prize and they so top tier that they don't never have to get that desperate to lower themselves to, fight to keep a woman. You know what I mean? And it's the exact opposite. What I've come to discover is that most men who are overachievers, who are used to being successful at everything, they start to build this egotistical sense of entitlement. Like, since I got all this praises and worship service from everybody over here, that even a woman who finally comes to her senses and realizes that this dude is a douchebag underneath all his accolades and his success, and she decides to leave him. The narcissistic ninja, especially the ones who are successful, they look at it like, who are you to not want me? Who are you to make the decision that you get to leave me? Not when everybody else is putting me on this pedestal as this successful, top tier athlete, rapper, producer, whatever the case is. A lot of these industry dudes get beside themselves. And this is not to say average guys don't do it, because an abuser is an abuser. And let's face it, ladies, an abuser is not just a drunk, bum, dingy looking dude standing in front of the liquor store drinking out of a brown paper bag. Abusers are also well dressed. They are also millionaires. They are also white men. They are black men. They are young men. They are older men. In other words, there's no look to the nature of the narcissistic ninja. There's no looks to an abuser. And that's why women have to stop being jaded and blinded by a man's success to where they lack spiritual discernment. Millionaires are beaters, billionaires are women beaters. I mean, abusers. You get what I'm saying? So, and it's not just black men. You know, you can't sit up here and just size the brothers and say it's only the brothers. You got men of all races. Any man who does not have any discipline over his controlling issues, him wanting to dominate and regulate anything, he has a high percentage of being very, very abusive. And if you are the kind of woman, you are more concerned with your image than your well-being, you will stay in a relationship with an abuser just so you can have access to the VIP passes and Prada bags and red bottom shoes or whatever the case is, and behind closed doors you are miserable. And it just goes to show you cannot go by relationship goals, because this man had a lot going for himself. But I'm not going to be the only one to speak on this, right? I got 3 other videos that I wanted to share with y'all with other content creators or bloggers who also shared their opinion, which I thought was very, very insightful. So let me go ahead and share this one with you all.
This video was absolutely sad. I'm just glad that this woman made it out alive, because when it come to a lot of situations like this, a lot of black women don't make it out alive, and she barely made it out. Man, when I saw her hands, when he was choking her, when I saw her hands fall to her side like she had died, oh my God, a rage was built up in me. And he laid the body down and then just walked up the stairs. Man, a lot of these men out here, bro, don't have no soul, don't have no heart. Yep. They don't have no control over their emotions, man, and they'll take out their anger out on their women. But of course, a lot of men don't want to talk about that. They just brush that under the rug. They'll probably talk about a video of, a woman cussing somebody out in the restaurant and be like, oh, look at that. That's the problem with women today, that they masculine and they cussing to shut the fuck up. They avoid stories like this, though. But, yeah, may this man suffer for his sins, whether that means he don't get to go to NFL or whatever consequences he face. I'm just glad that the black woman got through this situation, because not a lot of black women make it out of these situations. So that's just my opinion on the whole story, man. Quadarius, if that's how you say his name, Davis, is trash. He's a pathetic excuse of a black man. And that's my opinion. This video was absolutely...
All right, it's going to loop. And again, he's absolutely right, because let's just face it, you have the red pill community, which is not all red pill community guys have that narrative, but you have some of them that have this narrative that a woman who's being abused, she brings it upon herself. And in some cases, you do have women who put themselves in this predicament and will do absolutely nothing, make no type of plans to remove themselves from the situation. But we're not going to sit up here and allow that narrative to be promoted simply because you hate women or you hate black women or whatever the case may be. It does not condone or justify a man putting his hands on a woman. Especially if you're a man with all the success and accolades, you should have all of this confidence in which if you can't get one woman that kiss your ass whenever you bend over, it'll always be another woman that is weak enough who will do it. Because you have some women, they love the limelight. You have some women like Kanye West, soon to be ex-wife, who basically did not mind Kanye West making a fool out of her and humiliating her just so she can drive the Porsche and the Bentley. So you have some women that are willing to suffer and be miserable just to have access to that lifestyle. But everybody's not supporting that. And I'm glad it's a lot of men that are speaking on this, because for some reason when women do it, we don't get heard. It's like we automatically empathize with other sisters, and I don't automatically sympathize with a woman because she's a woman, but I look at the fact that this woman was defenseless, and this dude, he's probably 220 solid, the way he was strangling her, there was no way she was able to defend herself from him, you know what I mean? But I'm gonna play some other videos, y'all, before we get too long in length and time. So let me play this next one.
Okay, let me start this video off by saying domestic violence is never okay. And I am so proud of this young lady for speaking out, because the way that this young man choked her, she's off of her feet, and that's why I have this picture there. He choked her out until she used the bathroom on herself. The video is extremely graphic, and that is why I am not playing it here on TikTok. It is available on my YT channel. The link is in my bio as always. I never post graphic videos here on my page. But she has so much courage, and she is speaking out against Quay Davis. He is a Southern University College kid who is entering the draft this year. And she's saying that he choked her out until she used the bathroom on herself, which is on camera. A neighbor caught it on camera. He punched her numerous of times, all because she didn't want to be with him anymore. He allegedly had previous, domestic violence cases. You guys, domestic violence is never okay. Go and watch the video on my YouTube and come back and talk. Let's talk about it in the comments. Okay, let me start this video off by saying domestic violence is never okay.
So it is looping back again, and I want to play this last one here, and then we're going to go to Quadarius's Instagram. And when I say listen, they was butchering this dude, and guess what? I mean, he can't even blame nobody for it but himself, and they had every right. But we're going to go into his Instagram page after I play this third video, and then we'll go from there.
So you tricked your girlfriend until she was unconscious because she wanted to break up with you? Let's talk about it. Have y'all heard about that football player Quay Davis that was choking his girlfriend until she was unconscious? Girl, why they neighbors ring camera and capture him literally to mess out his girlfriend because she broke up with him, and like he literally choking her until she was unconscious. Then he finally let her go. He kept trying to drag her and choke her so she won't break up with him. And then he finally let her go. Next thing you know, she literally falls unconscious. And so she came out and was like, yeah, I broke up with him. I'm not going back. I did go to the hospital. Everything is fine, but my neck is just still sore, and I did get out till I was unconscious. And then she also said that she's pressing charges. What is going on with these football players, NFL players, basketball players, just anybody in that league and all the little sports league? What's going on with them putting their hands on their girlfriends now? What's up? What's going on? All because she wanted to break up with you? You put your hands on a woman, you took her till she was literally about to die. All because she broke up with you. You can't handle no breakup. I know you're the type of man that cuss the girls out if she rejects you at the gas station. I know you're the type of man. You see a girl, you trying to holler at her, and she be like, "Nah, I'm good. I got a boyfriend." You cuss her out. You're that type of man because if you can't take a breakup, come on now, a breakup. Clearly, you had to be doing something. Too many red flags for her to break up with you, and she literally said it was too many red flags. That's why she broke up with you. So what she was doing to her, and then you got mad because she took the initiative to lead a relationship, but you was doing dirt to her. Y'all, I'm so confused. And it's so crazy because I always see that girl on Twitter. She be viral on Twitter a lot. And yeah, I would have never known that was her until somebody came out and told me. These men are scary. These men are dangerous, y'all. They would literally try to pull you over any freaking thing. We gotta start doing background checks on these men before we get in a relationship with them because, I'm scared. This is scary. What be going on through y'all head when y'all do this type of stuff? Putting your hands on a female would never be okay. I don't care what the case may be. Putting your hands on a female is a bitch move. You're a these are the type of men that would never step to a man, never fight a man, never talk dirty, I think, next to another man. So they gonna do it to women because they bigger, they stronger, I'm a man, so yeah. But you gonna do it to another man. Okay, he needs to be in jail immediately. They need to put him under the jail. Men that molest and put their hands on women need to be under the jail in hell. Come on now, all because she wanted to break up with you, bro. Oh my God, these men are getting scary about the day. That's why I just want to stick to the men that I know and just keep going back and forth. Any man of my it's not funny, but like I don't want to be nobody new because you just never know like people intentions. You never know the real person until like some stuff like that happening. You break up with a man, and next thing you know, he kicking you out, and the only thing you remember is you argue with your man. You don't know nothing that happened next. And then you see on ring camera you get out, you don't pass out on the floor. Literally, and this is all outside of the apartments. The neighbor ring camera captured this. Men, black community, we have to do better. Like, this is sad. What's up with these athletes putting their hands on their girlfriends? Like, I just keep seeing too many instances with this stuff. And I'm just tired of seeing it because it's not cute and it's not funny. Like, I don't know. Like, my God, y'all need to be in a mental hospital. Y'all need to be in jail, in hell. Like, oh my God. Let me know what y'all think. Have y'all seen the video too? And if y'all haven't seen the video, it's on Twitter. You can just type it up.
Okay, y'all. So she pretty much summed it up. And this is definitely this is the God's honest truth. Unfortunately, you know, the reason why. Oops, I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know how my little. Yeah, you know, I guys, I mean, y'all know I do cups and stuff, so I'll be making designs and labels and all of that or whatever. But anyway, yeah, she brought up some very significant points. You know, these new breed dudes they a whole nother element. We have a lot of Martells, we have a lot of Kanye West, and we have the Quay Davises out there that will crash out on a woman in a heartbeat. Diddy, who's currently they're selecting a juror for him, you know, for his trial. You have some dudes out here that are really, really ruthless. Now, let's speak in industry, right? Because I want to keep it simple. I don't like moving the goalposts because that's how things get confusing. But when we talk about, she brought up an interesting question. I mean, this dude, like I said, he crashed out on this woman, chased her down like a raging pit bull, not even taking into consideration that cameras are everywhere. It was the door cam that exposed this man because, in a sense, had he not acted out and crashed out, nobody would not have known. He would have got away with this probably the same way he got away with it with his baby mama, which is the reason why he felt comfortable. And that's one thing, right? When it comes to these industry dudes, because they have money, they could afford the best of lawyers, the best of attorneys. They have all kind of connections with these judges who will accept bribery outside of their profession or whatever. That is why a lot of these industry dudes, they feel so comfortable with you know, putting a pause on women and physically bringing harm to women. It's because of their money and their success. They feel like they will always be able to buy their way out. The other thing is that some of these dudes are mama's boys, right? You know, look at some of the patterns. And this ain't the case for everybody. If you don't apply, you don't have to reply. Abusers do come from two-parent households, okay? But I'm just saying, if we had to really look at the characteristics, Kanye West had a single mother. Diddy, Puff Combs, whatever you want to call him, was raised by his mama. Quay Davis, from what I heard, was just raised by his mama. Didn't have a daddy. A lot of these guys who struggle with daddy issues, who didn't have a man, a lot of them adopt their mother's emotional traits because men who never had men in their lives, in their household, to balance that masculine structure. What tends to happen is anytime a man is always around his mama, he's always been exposed to nothing but feminine characteristics. So if he's seen his mama lash out and throw things or deal with her emotions in a feminine manner, if there's not a man in his life or household to balance that out, and for instance, to make it make sense, if a young boy he's you know, learning how to ride the bicycle, and his mama is teaching him, and he falls, you know, first thing she's gonna say, oh, my little JJ, my poor baby, you know, she's gonna take him from the bike, make him put the bike down, take him in the house, watch his little, you know, knee off, and kiss his boo-boo. And because she don't want him to hurt himself again, she'll be like, no, you're not getting back on the bike no more today. You already hurt yourself one time. I'm not letting you get back on the bike today, because that is in a woman's nature to be nurturing. But when it comes to dads, that masculine energy is different, right? The dads will say, boy, you better stop that crying and get your behind back on that bike. Stop whining and acting like a little girl. Because it's necessary. A child needs both parents. They need the balance of that masculine energy and then that feminine energy. And the same thing for daughters. It's important that daughters also have their fathers. But in cases like this, men who have mommy, daddy issues, Martell Holt. He was predominantly raised by his mama. And anytime you're dealing with a mama's boys are a high risk factor when it comes to dealing with men that could be potentially abusive. Now, this is not the case for all single mothers. So before Bukisha comes in the chat and start going off, I raised little JJ by myself to be good to all women. So why are you sitting up here saying single mothers? I know young boys who have both their mama and daddy and still been abusive. Listen, if it's not for you, and you know you did a great job, you don't have to go in the chat room windmilling and trying to prove that doesn't apply. We know there's an exception to every rule, but I'm talking about the majority. Most guys and some of you women, make sure y'all hit that like button. I didn't even mention for nobody to hit the like button. Please hit the like button if you haven't already, right? I would appreciate it if you just apply the pressure to that like button. I would so appreciate it. Thank you. Big ups to my mods if y'all are in here and I did not recognize y'all, didn't acknowledge y'all. Thank y'all. Thank you for everybody who's here for my newest comeback, okay? But yeah, most of these mama's boys, and if you are a woman who dealt with a mama's boy, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because that mama has made her son her husband and her son Hudson. You know what I mean? So he doesn't know the difference, but he doesn't have that balance of being a man and being a boy. He's confused between the both because he did not have that masculine authority. And it's just different when there's a man in the house. Y'all can miss me with that. Boys need their fathers. I'm sorry. Women, we cannot teach our boys how to become men. This is not to discourage single moms who got to do it by themselves. Because I know some single moms who really did the darn thing. Matter of fact, my daughter is dating a guy who was raised by a single mom, and he's the exact opposite. He's very protective of women because he always had to be protective of his mother and his sister. He doesn't act feminine. He's overly protective because there was not a male figure there. And he is just, I ain't gonna brag too soon because you never know how these young men, but so far he's a really, really good guy. And he just gave her an engagement ring today, as a matter of fact. So I'm definitely excited about that for her. Very well-mannered young man or whatever. So like I said, you never really know a person until time has gone by. But I met his mother, and when I say very strong black woman, and that's why I say it doesn't apply to all single mothers. You have single women out there who had to be hard and who did have a male mentor, who did have an uncle, who did have a brother, who did allow some type of masculine authority to intercede when there was not a father who honored his fatherly duties. So again, big ups to all the single moms out there who doing it all by themselves, because it's not easy, right? But yeah, so back to the at hand when I'm talking about the characteristics of an abusive man. As I mentioned before, when it comes to men in the industry, because we're talking about industry dudes, right? We'll talk about abusive men in general another time. We want to try to keep the lane small. I don't want too many lanes, right? Because that's when we start veering off. It's just too much going on. So speaking in terms of the men in the industry, we're talking about these NFL players, these NBA players, right? Who are abusive. Like I said, one, for money, because they know they got the money, they got the connections. Two, they got mama's boys who have always, they have been raised under their They're mama wives. They're mama wives, mamas who have always catered to them, like, you know, they were their wives at the same time. Diddy, like I said, Kanye West, I named a few of them. And Martell, you know, they mama never let them wean off the nipple. And when they run into women, they look for women to be catering, to be submissive. In the moment that woman bucks or challenges their manhood, if that's what they want to call it, this is where they start wilding out. They start wanting to put the part, not wanting to, where they actually do put their hands on women, because it's about keeping that control. And this instance, same thing with Quay. I'm just calling him Mr. Davis. Same thing with Mr. Davis. He ran after that young woman, not because he wanted her. It was the control that he wanted over her. That's what it was. Because in his mind, who are you to leave me? I'm Mr. Hot Shot. I'm Mr. Big Shot. I'm Mr. Top tier, soon to be drafted NFL player, this, and that, whatever the case was. Most industry men that are used to being successful, they cannot handle rejection. They cannot handle being told no. The very reason why when Cassie tried to get away from Diddy, he became more aggressive, more violent, and with the kicking and punching on her. Y'all seen the video. Because who are you to tell me no? I am a millionaire. I'm used to having yes men. I'm used to having soldiers who are always saluting to me and doing what the hell I say do. Who are you? Especially if you are a woman who don't make as much money as they make. They feel like their accolades alone should keep you submissive. Who are you not to want what I tell you to want? You supposed to want me. Who gives a damn if I'm a dick, if I'm abusive, if I'm not faithful? And you listen, the funny part is these type of dudes, they'll keep multiple women on you, but will be quick to want to stump a mud hole in you even if they caught you looking at a guy. Okay, these are that dude. And this is why we need to educate our women, our young women coming up. Stop being blinded by the bling, the Maseratis, you know, the Porsches, the Lamborghinis, because there's a lot of misery that comes with that lifestyle. This man may keep a damn GPS on that Maserati every time you want to drive it somewhere, thinking you're going to give these men and enjoy just living a high life, and they not be over possessive and not want to control you. Because in their mind, they think that they are a prize, you know, and if you're not willing to humble yourself and do what they say do, they feel like, you know, they can get away with handling you. If not handling you, they'll abuse you, and not only abuse you, they will get other women to show you, not only can I get away with abusing you, I can also still get other women who want me. So women who deal with this type of man and who with these type of men, the incubus male, and they're stuck in that manipulative chamber, and they're stuck in that image of wanting this lifestyle. And it's a lot of them, and it's a couple of more unhinged stories in which I'm going to be talking about other women who are also in similar situation, who have paid the price for the bag. Yes, meaning the Prada bag, meaning the red bottoms. You know, a lot of the women are living in misery just to keep that image, you know. And it comes a point when you get broken down so much to the point you don't even care about the lifestyle, because the abuse becomes just that overwhelming. Next thing you know, is you're on Instagram, you're in the shade room, people are dragging you through the mud. Yeah, so and so who's with Mr. Big Shot, football player, you know, she caught the police, and the police came to his 8-bedroom mansion to arrest him. Because it comes a point when, I don't care how strong you try to be or how much you think you can, you just feel like you got to humble yourself because you don't want to lose this lifestyle. You so scared that somebody else gonna get this man and make him something you not, only to come to a breaking point to where, as you're trying to while you're trying to remain his peace, he's breaking you in pieces while you're trying to remain his peace. You know what I'm saying? You know, you dealing with the abuse, you're dealing with the name calling, you're dealing with the disrespect, just so you can have access to, you know, the phantom. So, that is the reason why a lot of these industry dudes, they pull a stunt. In this instant, sooner or later, it catches up with him. That's why Diddy is hanging on by the thread, and he's losing his cool because he knows what he's up against, right? And Mr. Davis definitely knows what he's up against now. It's a no-brainer. NFL decided not to pick him up. He is currently out. I'm sure he has some restrictions. I'm sure he cannot go nowhere near her. I pray that he, the devil don't use him to trigger him to still come after this woman. But his integrity is down the toilet. You know what I mean? Nobody's not going to pick him up. No brand is going to want to be associated with a woman beater. Not only that, a lot of these brothers got to understand the fact that you're a black man, that's already going to get you counseled. Now, if he was assaulting, it might be a different story, Judge might spare him some leniency and just make him do house arrest. And believe it or not, them kind still get sponsorship. But when it comes to black men, they should already know by now, society is not going to extend that same level of grace for them. Yet they keep taking chances. And that's what this dude did. Because again, he done did it before. He done got away with it before. That's why he felt comfortable. And he just was really, really intimidated by this beautiful girl. Even with all his success, all the money. And he was getting ready to step into a lifestyle in which he was going to be able to take care of his family for the rest of his life. He was going to be able to take care of his child for the rest of his life. But his ego got the best of him. Because it's the ego-emotional male. I'll say it again. The ego emotional. Yeah, you got ego, but you're too damn emotional at the same time. And most of the time, these kind of men, Martell Holt, ends up crashing out. So let's look into his comment section right quick before we get ready to shut it down, y'all. Let's go to... Listen, when I said it was tearing him up, I'm going to read some of these comments, all right? This is what happens when you get exposed for the incubus that you are. Now, this was 22 weeks ago when he posted this. Told that girl I'm a star. That's why she can see me at night. Very cocky, very arrogant. He looked like he beat women. Boy, you should be on a t-shirt right now. Stop beating girls up because y'all scared to come out the closet. Yep, that's another reason. Listen, a lot of these dudes really want that bussy. They really want that bussy, and they hate the fact that they can't really live in their truth. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you start climbing a ladder of success, you can't get caught slipping and dipping in the Skittles and the rainbow and the alphabet mafia, right? So a lot of them are taking their sexual frustration out on women because they really want to be with men. So very true. Girls, let me tell y'all ladies, they tearing him up. Please make sure y'all hit that like button if you just coming in. I hope she got brothers, uncles, and cousins after him. I hope you go to jail for beating women and this haircut. You don't even need to be accepted in the 37U league. And we don't give a F how much counseling and help you get. You done for, fuck boy. Yeah, they going in on him. They ain't got the nerve to have this poo-ass haircut. Ninja gay as hell. They eating them up. You a star, right? A star in prison. Your career done for. All right, so that's one picture. Okay, I'm going to go to this one here. Like I said, just look at this man. He has this arrogance about himself. And that's why he felt it was necessary to go after this woman and to attack this woman, because he thinks so highly of himself. Who are you not to want me? Who are you to reject me? They go ham. I mean, this is like Martell Holt at his finest. That's why Martell Holt still kept running behind Mel, because the narcissistic ninja, the male incubus, which is a male demon sent on assignment. I know if y'all heard me talk about succubus all the time, but I'm going to go into my incubus male series also, because we need to also break that down as well, especially since we're going to be doing some more unhinged stories, right? So the fact that you put your hands on her in public, no telling what you were doing behind closed doors. Yep. You put hands on that woman and choked her out. I hope you got a good lawyer, kid, shaking my head. You're going to prison, buddy. The Texas Spencer James. Okay. And that's the most recent comments now. All right. Let me go to this one. Okay. Somebody put Stance got more sugar in it than a Krispy Kreme donut. You look sassy as F, bro. That's why you strangle females, you gay, you hate women. Spicy little thing, A Bubba. Ew, a mess. The hair is pissing me off. Shave the back, too. What the F? You right about the loser. You definitely touched them all. Looking sassy, weak boy. No, you better not drop the soap, boy. Your ass good as F. You look gay, Ash, and want to choke a female out because she don't want you. Sissy, gay, ace, ninja, sissy pose. I'm trying to keep it rated G, y'all. They got the rainbow SpongeBob. Oh, yeah, gay. Go try another dude like you did that girl. So, y'all get the drift. I can watch that, you know what I mean? I can go in and read every comment, but y'all get the drift. His legacy is done. Nobody will ever respect him. I don't care where he goes. People are going to like make a mockery out of him. He's going to always have to walk that hall of shame. His family's going to have to deal with that. His whole everything he had going for him is gone. And that's the problem with these men. When they get on an evil high, they're not thinking about all of what they have to lose, especially the ones that are successfully well off. Now, the ones who don't have nothing going for them, like Martell, they are more dangerous because they don't have nothing to lose. In this instance, Davis had a lot to lose. And again, he let his ego get the best of him. And you know, some of these incubus males, they're not used to attention. Probably was raised in poverty, grew up not having much. And when you get these kind of guys who run into success, they can't handle it. So when women start checking for them or women start showing interest in them, this is where their true demons start to manifest. And that aggression comes from the fact that they still have low self-esteem. Even with all of what they accomplished, they still have that stigma of being in poverty, of not being accepted, being rejected, being overlooked. And finally, when they have arrived to and have climbed that ladder of success, they get beside themselves. They're not used to attention. They're not used to women wanting them or desiring them. And truth be token, and if I had to play devil's advocate, she probably was checking for him because of what he had. Now granted, even though she's been on Instagram saying, I don't need his money, I make my own money, I'm my own entrepreneur. I tell women this all the time. Just because you make your own money, it does not mean you want a broke man. I don't know why women say that. Women say, well, I make my own money. Like, that's going to negate the fact that you don't mind dude being broke. I mean, miss me with that. Come on, ladies. Even if you got your own money, like my husband would tell me that. My husband, like, well, I would tell my husband that. I'd be like, I'm good, I got my own money. He like, and that don't mean if we get together, you not gonna want to spend my money. You not going to spend your money. You still going to spend my money. And I'm like, well, yeah, you right. So a woman making her own money, it does not negate the fact that she still wants a man to make his own money. So let's face it. I'm sure had he not been that football player, she probably wouldn't have looked at him twice. Again, this does not negate or condone the fact that he was wrong for putting his hands on her. But what I will say is this: women, be careful going after dudes for their success and for their money and for their notoriety and their fame, because a lot of these guys, they got the big head, they got a lot of connections in the industry. In some instances, they get away with pulling these stunts and abusing women and hurting women. All of them don't always suffer the repercussions because they have a lot of connections. The more money, the more connections, the more you can get away with, unless God intervenes and says, you know what, enough is enough. I done gave this ninja several opportunities. And he did. This dude, he did it with his baby mama. And the young lady, she was smart enough to see the red flags. And I commend her on that. A lot of women would sit up here and lie to themselves. Oh, he ain't doing nothing, we good, just so they can keep the bag. They can secure the bag. You know, they rather be dragged to secure the bag. I'm going to say that again. Too many sisters rather get dragged to secure the bag. You know what I mean? And you end up in the end having to deal with that embarrassment. Not only that, it's the trauma. It's the mental trauma. This young lady is not going to be the same behind that. This man damn near choked her to death. I don't care how much she says she's fine and she's okay. mentally, I pray that God keeps this woman mentally stable, because something like that will forever alter how you perceive men and how you perceive relationships, you know. So I pray that she gets all the help she needs. But this is why I do what I do. This is why I am a family violence intervention professional, because I specifically deal with men like Mr. Davis, and I make them, to the best of my ability, I make them realize their actions and make them face who they really are. And in many instances, I've had many of them who have been very open to it, believe it or not, who know they have problems. Now, rather if it's for manipulation, just to ace or pass the class, that's on them. But nevertheless, you know, I see the difference in a lot of these guys, in which they realize it takes sometimes you making these guys open themselves up, making these abusers open themselves up in ways in which they never wanted to be transparent about their childhood, what they was exposed to growing up in households, because your upbringing also influences how you deal with your problems and how you deal with the opposite sex. And women too. There's women out here who cannot keep their hands to themselves. I got women in my classes for pulling out weapons, for stabbing guys, you name it. I listen to stories like this day in and day out. So it's a very common but yet dangerous situation, and that's why these states are implementing these programs in agencies such as myself, in which the courts are requiring these individuals to take family domestic violence classes, because it's a prevention method of actually getting to a place in which you take somebody's life, you know. So hopefully Davis gets the help he needs, but I know even with all the help he needs, he does not deserve to have his career back. He does not deserve to have a woman come into his life and support him and walk with him through something he could have prevented. So nevertheless, only time will tell, because we know these court systems are jacked up. They let these men walk and get away with things. But guess what? There's a God who sits high. And once he put his hands on you, guess what? It does not matter who lets you be free. You still going to have to answer to him. So anyway, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. Again, this is my comeback. I plan on producing more content, more sermons. I got a whole lot coming, a whole lot in store for y'all now. Now that I have the right equipment, the right setup, I definitely feel so much more confident in doing what I'm doing, because I have everything that I need in order to be effective. So if you like today's comeback, you like today's content, please make sure you hit the like button. Leave me in a comment below. Let me know what you guys think about today's content, today's audio, and all of that good stuff. So anyway, y'all, I got stuff I got to do. I got my macaroni and cheese in the oven. I got my baked chicken. And somebody's hitting me in the background in Messenger. So anyway, y'all, it's been an hour and some change. And I'm also working on trying to keep my content a little longer. But tonight it was going to, a little shorter. But tonight it was a little longer, of course, because I had to explain to you all why I've been gone for so long. Anyway, if you haven't already, make sure you also subscribe to my Mocha's Cafe de Paris channel as well. That's my co-ed channel for men and women. So make sure you subscribe over there if you haven't already. And yeah, of course, I will be producing more sermons, producing more content, and we are going to stay on it. So y'all have a good one. And again, I appreciate each and every one of you. Anybody who wants to support the movement, $Diamond Girl, if you don't have the donations, just show your appreciation by hitting that like button. Take care, and I'll see y'all next time. Be blessed.